Hello, guys, welcome back once again. I wanted to do this kind of since I have done an Enhypen general reading. I'm sorry, it's Enhypen. I always say Enhypen. I know I have to get used to it. um, so I wanted to start because I was looking at the comments, and Jay, it's a name uh, that had been requested several times by different people. So I guess I'm going to start with him, with Jay. So let's talk a bit about Jay's energy. He's a Taurus sun. His moon is in Cancer. Um, so um, Definitely, from what I could see, he could be someone very emotional, even though it looks like he is very stable and probably like because Taurus males, they tend to have this kind of calmness to them. They are not very expressive. Sometimes they tend to lay low. They tend to what is very outstanding and is very admirable of Taurus energy, especially in male, is how effortless, beautiful, and handsome they are. Because since Taurus is ruled by Venus, uh, Taurus male, they tend to have very good skin, very good sense of a style. They are very refined. They are very elegant. Everything they wear, it looks great on them. Every color, every hairdo, it's amazing. And they also tend to pull it off with this very laid back kind of fashion. So they are not very like over the top with the colors or with matching different different like textures or very radiant colors, but everything that they put on, it looks amazing on them. So one of the many things why Taurus male, they tend to work in the industry. First is their looks, because their looks it's impressive. They are really beautiful. And second, it's the power of their voice, because like I always mention that Taurus rules the throat. So definitely they have this beautiful, very peaceful and very soulful kind of voice that is very soothing, that is very nice and pleasant to hear. Also very jazzy kind of vibe. So they are really good with words. They're really good at singing. I think that sometimes for Taurus, especially the males, sometimes expressing themselves when it comes to how they feel and and what they think, it's really it's not that easy for them to maybe they can talk about many subjects, especially if they have like strong placements in Gemini, like Moon in Gemini or Mercury in Gemini. They can be talkative, but it doesn't mean that they talk about how they really feel. So this is why I think that a lot of Taurus males, they tend to dream or to build a career around art or around singing and composing and expressing themselves through musical instruments, because it's a way, like it's a way to express and to talk about a lot of things that they feel, and that they don't get to express sometimes, because I always talk about Taurus energy, and I always stress this, and I always say this very often, that it's that you cannot push a Taurus person to do something that they are not ready for. So they are not the kind of person that they're going to open up their hearts to the first stranger that comes out. They take their time to get to know the environment, to get to know people, to get to know circumstances. For them, changes are not easy. For earth signs, Virgo, Capricorn, Taurus, changes and adjusting, to moving and to be constantly transforming is not something that is very related to us. Actually, earth signs always look for stability. So even though probably the younger generations of today, they have like a much more um they are more willing and they are more open to changes, to what's different, to what's new. Their mindset is very different from what probably the older generations, what we went through. But nevertheless, we always have to remember that that Taurus is Taurus. It doesn't matter if they act like they are very sociable. Still, you can see that if you pay enough attention, you will see the traits in them. There are a lot of things that they do not give in so easily. There are a lot of things that they love to maintain the same. There are a lot of probably like small values or small rituals that they have of their own that they don't want to like to change, or that you can see a bit of like resistance in a few comments or in a few in a few actions that they make, that it gives away this story and energy. So, and with the moon in Cancer, obviously, water moons are very emotional, but moon in Cancer, especially because Cancer is ruled by the moon. So it says that being a moon in Cancer, it's actually being like, it's like the moon, it's really comfortable in Cancer because it's like in its domicile. So it feels really good. But at the same time, the person is very emotional and they change their moods pretty often, just like the phases of the moon. They are constantly changing. And so they can be a bit moody. It depends on how the moon hits, in what phase it is, but they tend to be influenced by a lot of things that goes around them. So I think that probably for Jay, he may not be able to realize it yet, how much it affects his moods, but actually he is very sensitive. So one thing that we always have to pay attention when it comes to Cancer energy or Cancer moon is that they will often find situations where they feel a bit disappointed by something, or actually a bit like they will feel very strong emotions or very emotional about a certain situation or about how a person in specific treated them. They tend to get offended pretty easily because they are very they are very sensitive. So they get offended, and you can tell in the way the whole mood changes around them. You can tell in their face, in their expression, that they are offended or that there's something. And besides, they're very passive aggressive about it, so they will not be openly confrontative about it, because water energy doesn't act that way. But you will see, you will sense in the air that they all of a sudden they got really sad, and that probably will like just be on their own. So you have to be really like observant with if you have like someone that you really care about, like a friend or family member or someone that has a moon in Cancer. You have to be really like pay attention to the signs, because probably you have done something that they found offensive and you don't realize that you did it until then you suddenly realize that they are not talking to you anymore or something like that. So you have to pay attention because they get offended pretty easily. So let's go with the archetype cards that he got. He got the archetype of the poet, the professor, and the warrior. So the first thing is what I was talking about this probably this tendency of being emotional. Probably he's much more emotional than he lets people see. I think that he's definitely very protective of his own intimacy. So probably in order to protect his own stability or his own persona or the image that he portrays to others, probably he doesn't express how he really feels about the situation, but suddenly it's like you can tell in his face. Like I haven't watched much about him. Like I didn't even watch Island. But I know who he is. So, for example, he can have like very changes in moods. So probably he feels that sometimes being too sensitive, it can make people like have a wrong impression of him. So probably there's a part of him that wishes he wouldn't be so sensitive. And I think that the best way for him to actually be able to deal with his sensitivity is to be able to give it a form, to give it like a purpose. And I think that poetry or journaling or writing lyrics or everything artistic to connect with the poet inside of him can actually help him to recognize that yes, that he has this sensitive world inside of him and that there's nothing wrong with it. It's just that I think that sometimes he blames himself because it's like, for example, if there's something that he finds that it hurt his feelings and he is open about it or he is expressive about it, somehow this circumstance or this episode tends to affect his relationship with others. So probably he feels that because he got offended for something that that people around him find him too sensitive, so they treat him differently. And he doesn't want to have that effect. It's like he realized that sometimes he cannot control himself and that maybe, I don't know, maybe if he's feeling a bit hurt, he can be a bit like he can complain a lot or talk a lot about what hurt him or being a bit repetitive when it comes to what bothered him. So he can see that some people get tired pretty easily of this sensitivity of him. So he realized that that's not the image that he wants people to remember him, and that he doesn't want people to see him as a victim, like he is too sensitive, because yes, he does have sensitivity. He's very emotional, but at the same time, with him being a Taurus, he feels like being too sensitive, it ruins his image. It's like because he's a very, Taurus energy sometimes is very, like I said, it gives you a lot of grounding, a lot of stability, and a lot of beauty, and a lot of elegance. So he wants to be seen with those attributes. He doesn't want to be seen like this very hypersensitive person that cries in the corner every time someone says something that he doesn't like. It's like he doesn't want to be whining, but it's like he still hasn't been able to manage this. Especially, I think that what bothers him maybe probably has to do with the fact that he's not used to be recorded or to be on camera all the time. That they are always with cameras. So it's like probably, I don't know if people collect like embarrassing moments of him. Like I'm not saying that he has embarrassing moments. It's just that he considers them embarrassing and somehow people find it funny. And it's like probably like people make like compilations online or something like that. And he feels like these kind of labels, it ruins his reputation, or actually what he wants, how he wants to be seen as an artist, because definitely he has a lot of sensitivity and a lot of talents to show, and he doesn't want that perception of him that others have, or that memory of him whining about something. He doesn't want people to remember him for that, because that was a phase and he already moved on. So I find him that he feels really strongly about it, because it's like I want to emphasize this part so much. It's like I'm becoming like a bit obsessive myself. Like I want to like mark these words really strong, because I feel like this is how he feels. He feels like that people need to know that he has different kind of that he has different stages, that he wants to be seen differently. He doesn't want people to grab old videos of him and be like, oh, remember how he acted like 2 years ago. He's like, he finds it embarrassing, and he finds it that, I don't know why, but probably because he's growing up, he's maturing. So he wants to be seen not like this goofy guy. He wants to be seen more like a serious artist. So probably he blames himself a lot because of a lot of things that are going around in the internet, or probably he watches these videos or a compilation. So if the fans can can like stop doing those compilations about him in those moments. I don't know what moments he's talking about, but I can see that he finds them embarrassing. So, and the other cards, that Professor and Warrior, definitely, yes, I see him like he has a lot of potential, he has a lot of knowledge, and he has the potential to teach others also what he knows. So he could, in the future, he could be like a coach, a professor. He could teach other trainees how to be better, how to succeed, and how to be able to learn new things, new craft. But here with the warrior, this is what I was thinking, that my energy suddenly felt like he was on the defensive. So something that you definitely have to pay attention about Jay. I don't know, maybe if you are his fan, you probably already know it, but here with the warrior, with the archetype of the warrior, I have the feeling that he is like, he can be really nice, but it depends on how he's feeling that day. Then he becomes like a warrior, in the sense that, because I have this need to emphasize my words so much, and it's like I'm almost becoming like too aggressive, so I think that this is the warrior archetype on him. I think that sometimes when he finds a few situations unpleasant for him, or that he doesn't want to repeat, or that he wants to put in the past, it's like he becomes like too insistent about it. So he can become like a warrior. It's like he becomes like it's like he wants to defend himself from something, or from his past. And it's like, it's funny, because it's like no one is fighting him. Actually, no one is making fun of him. It's just that people are laughing with him, not of him. But it's like, since he's so sensitive, he can go from a poet to a warrior, because it's like he gets upset pretty easily. So he can go from being really chill and being really calm to feeling really nervous and really like aggressive, and but not aggressive physically, not like he's going to punch you in the face. It's just that he puts on this very defensive mode, like he suddenly feels the need to defend himself. So in order to defend himself, he can become a bit aggressive about how he talks, or about the tone he uses. So he can come off as being a bit intolerant to other people's opinions sometimes. So let's go with the tarot cards that came out for him. He got the Ten of Cups, the Nine of Pentacles, the Seven of Swords, the Ace of Cups, the Fool, the Chariot, the Hierophant, the Queen of Swords, um, the Tower, and the Five of Swords. So definitely the first line that I see here of these tarot cards is really beautiful. It's talking about this new, I think that they had been feeling like a family lately. At least this is how he's showing me that he feels. He feels really productive, and he feels really like he's seeing the results of their hard work. I think that probably being part of Hive or being part of Big Hit or whatever it's called, it makes him feel like he's part of the family, and that he is feeling really good emotionally. And he feels like he had accomplished a lot, that he is accomplishing a lot, and that he's seeing the results of all the hard work. At the same time, when it comes to his emotions, he's still on the defensive, because I see this Seven of Swords here and looking at the Ace of Cups. So probably he is trying to refrain himself from acting too emotional. He doesn't want to ruin things for himself. He doesn't want to ruin this this emotional nature of him, to ruin his relationship with the rest of the members. He wants to be more mature. He wants to move on. He wants to be more professional, but he struggles because, like I said, he is emotional, and at the end of the day, he's going to have to learn to manage his emotions, but not to hide them. He doesn't have to hide that he is an emotional person. He just have to give like a proper use to his image, so as to his emotions, or probably know when to express them and when to not. But I understand that for him it's like this Ace of Cups that I'm seeing here is like this this cup that is pouring a lot of like a lot of water. So it's like emotions, it feels this way, especially when you have a moon in water. It feels like you cannot contain it, you cannot stop it, you cannot like restrict it, it just happens. You just feel the way you feel, and he needs to find the beauty in it instead of actually trying to repress his emotional side, because actually I think that his emotional side has a lot of wisdom, and probably he's very perceptive also. It's just that probably the fact that he could be a bit perceptive and also a bit intuitive can make him feel a bit paranoid, because like I said, he's too worried. He's a Taurus person, so obviously he's worried about his status, and he's worried about his image, his physical image, the beauty, the expressive part, the material side of things. So from one part he can be a bit superficial, and from other side he can be also very deep. So he needs to balance those aspects of his life. He needs to balance this, because it's like they can work together. He can be a very ambitious Taurus and wanting to live a good and make a good life for himself, a good career. And also he can be a very spiritual person with the moon in Cancer. So he can make it, but of course that he's very young, so he's going to take a while. And here with the moon, the Chariot, and the Hierophant, yes, a lot of they are going to what's the rest of this year. They're going to also start, like, probably they are going to release other songs, and they're going to release other material, and they're going to like probably have more flexibility than last year to actually promote themselves. I see them also like moving to the new building, and I think that not only the building, but I think that it's like a big hit or hype as their company. I think that they definitely are under their wing, so they are like adjusting. They will be adjusting. They will be in a very in constant communication with the company. So he's excited. He's going to actually they are going to be able to do a lot more than last year. I think that because of what's going on in the world, there are a lot of things that they couldn't do. Actually, I don't know about concerts and stuff, but I see that definitely when it comes to then expanding and showing different sides of themselves is going to be a very a nice chapter and a very different one. So he's probably really excited about trying new things, also new concepts. And here, with the Queen of Swords and the Tower, you know, I always mentioned. I think that I mentioned in the TXT reading that there was a female that she was like in charge of TXT, or somehow she was very influential when it comes to the decision making. And I think that for Enhypen, this same lady is here again. But I have the feeling that her staying or her influence in the boys' career or in the boys' management is going to be over really soon, because she's next to the tower. So definitely there's going to be an abrupt ending for this person. And here with the Five of Swords, definitely she is going to. I don't think she's going to quit. I think that she's going to get fired, but I think that she's going to try to do something to leave her mark, in the sense that if she goes, she could probably like say something really mean, or do something that could affect the group, but not not in the way of a conspiracy of doing like actually like a mean action, or like actually an action that could damage the boys. But I see her like being really resentful if she has to leave or she is forced to leave. So I see her like actually being really mean about it, or actually showing her true colors, and actually being really like probably a bit disrespectful to the boys, or saying something to them, or like making fun of them, or talking or saying really nasty words about their performance, or about their how they are as people. And they will feel like really, at least they will feel a bit like angry about it, because he will be like, oh, you made money working with us, and now all of a sudden you are talking bad about us. It's like, you know, I think that this lady she's very sharp with words, and probably she also knows a lot about laws and about legal matters. So I see that if she's forced to leave, because I think that she will mess up, she will not want to go empty-handed, you know, and she will be very nasty about it, very disrespectful, and not very pleasant. Actually, I have seen that. Actually, she when I saw her in the TXC reading, I understood why some members didn't like her, because there was something about her that was like like not nice. And I think that if she has to leave, she's definitely going to show her true colors. So this is all I have for today, guys. I hope that you enjoyed it, and if you did, please give it a like, and I always appreciate your feedbacks. Please stay respectful, and I will see you in the next video.